Thank you.
Speaker.
I call Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wonder whether members of the public who may still be listening over the last 20 minutes to some of the opposition speakers are left wondering what on earth it is that we're actually debating tonight. Thank goodness for the typically erudite and learned contribution of my good friend Dr. Calder a short time ago to bring some focus and clarity back to the discussion, because those who listened to Mr. Parker would have heard him roaming far and wide. We had a little discourse on the day of the jackal, and I think he spent a little time back in Epsom. He certainly left me thinking, I'm not sure where he stands, and right at the end he confirmed that the Labour Party is supporting this bill. Prior to that, Mr. Speaker, we'd listened to Damien O'Connor, who began reasonably well. He was right to emphasise the importance of biosecurity. No question about that. That's a major focus of this bill. But, Mr. Speaker, he was absolutely wrong to attack the government's record in this area or our commitment to improving our biosecurity arrangements, because we stand on our record and it's a very good one. Mr. O'Connor lost his way during his preoccupation with his rather infamous 8 minutes of mystery and intrigue. I have to say, he completely lost sight of the purpose of the bill. He certainly lost his audience, and I think he even lost the thrill of his 8 minutes. Those who were listening when he started speaking, I very much doubt were still listening at the end. The mystical 8 minutes wasn't as magical as it led us all to expect it was going to be. But for those with real stamina and perseverance, I'd like to remind him that the purpose of these two bills, the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill and the Biosecurity Bill, which are being read together, is to make improvements that are required to support the sharing of information across border sector agencies. And that has got to be a really positive step, and I'm pleased, after cutting through all the fluff that we've had to listen to in the last 20 minutes, that most parties in this House seem to accept that point. Mr. Speaker, the border management system that the government agreed to fund is dependent on effective sharing of information. In fact, it's quite a theme at the moment in government across a whole range of different aspects of legislation. It reflects the far more technologically advanced age that we live in, I guess. So we're looking to ensure the effective sharing of information among agencies operating at the border. These bills provide for important information sharing between Customs and what used to be the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, now the Primary Industries area. And in particular, it will ensure that the government's $75.9 million investment in new systems can deliver a real change in border management, because obviously we're looking for a good return on that investment. And we didn't hear anything from Mr. O'Connor on any of that. So I want to congratulate those who've worked on this bill. It's appropriate that we do that as we move towards the final stages of a bill's passage through the House. There has been very good work done by the previous Select Committee and by the officials, and I congratulate them. And I know that my very good friend Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi was fully involved in that, and I commend him for his real commitment to that exercise. I just want to reiterate their purpose and why they're broadly supported. These bills will ensure that the government's investment can deliver a real change in border management. The joint border management system that we have introduced will safeguard our border services, it will enhance the management of border risks, and it will enable Customs and those working in the primary industries area, that used to be the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, to give trading partners fast and accurate assurance about the safety of goods leaving New Zealand. Now, as an export-dependent country, we can't overstate just how important that is. Our partners depend on that assurance from us. We depend on our ability to give it to them, and therefore we need the most accurate information and the most rigorous, robust systems to ensure that we can put our hands on our hearts and give those assurances. That's why, Mr. Speaker, this government in recent budgets has provided significant extra sums to Customs. And I just want to finish by focusing on, in particular, on the illicit drugs trade, because through enhanced tracking and surveillance, we have seen some real successes in a really insidious aspect of modern culture, I guess. It's something that we have to be constantly wary of. We hear some horrific reports quite regularly about attempts to move drugs through the country. We need to ensure that we can fight that. And I just will close by pointing out that the amount of precursors to P that awful methamphetamine, which Customs intercepted last year, was enough to manufacture at least 169 kilograms of methamphetamine. That saved us over $68 million of potential harm to the community. And that can't just be measured in an economic cost, it has to be measured in a human cost. I say well done to everybody who did that, who has achieved it, and I commend this bill to the House.
I call